C'est bon. Plus fort. Embrasse-moi. C'est bon. Plus fort. Embrasse-moi. C'est bon. Plus fort. Embrasse-moi. C'est bon.
We have the 2011 BMW M3. This happens to be a sports sedan. It has the dynamic traction controls built in, 6-speed manual, Bluetooth, pretty much has all the equipment options available, competition package as well as the sports package. Over here at the steering wheel, just give you kind of a quick tour. Really thick leather gripping over here. We have the M badging and the M stitching as well. And up over here on the left, we have the volume control up and down for your music or your voice calls. This is your Bluetooth button. Up top, you have the voice command button. And then to the right, you have some audio controls as far as changing from CD to radio and stuff like that. And then you can also change your stations or change your music tracks up and down. And then up top, you have the M button, man's best friend. With a single push of a button, you get 100 extra horsepower. The BMW is pretty much equipped with all the latest features and technologies. It really makes a family guy be able to do what they really want to do on their days off. Kind of down here at the console, you have a lot of the controls that you can press as far as radio, CD, and there's more features on the CD button which we'll get to. The main menu options, your telephone, you have a navigation system, there's a back button or oops button and options button, and then you can actually twist and hit up and down, left or right if you want to. And then these are all the, this is kind of like the M button on the steering wheel, the power button. This is the controls as far as stiffening up the suspension, and if you want the basically the rear differential off, I recommend leaving it on just because the amount of torque that it has on this car. But let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and fire the car up just so you can see what it sounds like. And before we do that, this also has the comfort keyless remote. Now there's a difference between keyless remote and comfort keyless remote. Keyless remote on some cars, you actually have to still put the key in the slot and then you push the start button. With the comfort keyless remote, this actually talks to your car the whole time. Every time you turn the car on and off, it communicates, whether it's in there or not. It actually sends information to your key, for instance, your mileage, how fast you're going, your typical use of the car. Everything about the car is actually stored here without you physically even putting it in. So we're just gonna put it down here, and we're gonna go ahead and get this car fired up. Alright, so now we'll start with some of the really cool features of the car, some electronics on the inside. So let's go ahead and first start with the driver's side panel. You've got the windows up and down over here, window lock. This is obviously for the mirrors and which side of mirror you want, left or right. And this button, one of my favorite buttons right over here, if you push this button, it actually tilts the mirrors in if you're in a tight parking area and you don't want people to damage your windows or your mirrors. On the other side, one of my favorite features of this car is when you're reversing. I'm gonna put the car in reverse right now and you're gonna see the mirror tilt. And this is not a new feature, but it's a great feature. It comes really in handy, especially when you're reversing and you don't want to beat up your rims. A lot of people mess up their rims just by, you know, reversing into a side of a curb and really damaging the rims. And you know, rims on this car can cost anywhere between $4,500 and $5,500, so really want to take really good care of your rims. So we're gonna get started on just the console over here. It's got a pretty decent size console. You can put some other stuff over here. You've got your cigarette lighter or car charger port area. You have your auxiliary, and you also have a USB, whether you want to plug your iPod in or do some internal software updating on the car, which you can also do. So we talked about this console over here as well, and we're gonna bring that up in just a minute. But I want to bring your attention over here to the A off button. This is nowhere in the manual to be found, and it's very deceiving on what it can be. If you push it, nothing really happens to the car, but I'm going to explain to you when we're driving how cool that feature is. It actually stops the car when you're at a red light, and it doesn't fully power the car off, but it does shut the engine off while the other electronics stay on. Some people are like, well, that's not going to save me that much gas. Well, it's a V8. It does suck a lot of gas. So originally, before I press the button, when it's lit up, it's off, so it's not going to shut the car off. But before I even experimented with that button, I got between 200 210 miles on a full fill-up. And then once I enabled that button, meaning actually shutting the light off, that enables it, I got between 240 and 250 miles on a full tank fill-up. So now I'm just going to give you a quick little tour of the CD player, AC vents, and just some of the buttons in the middle console. So if you follow me over here you can see, you have your like favorite stations. Now what's really cool is you can push the button in physically, and I'm just going to roll my fingers across it without even pushing it in. And if you look on the screen here, it's going to actually ask you, I didn't assign them yet, but it'll ask you what station you want to go in. It'll tell you the stations before you actually have to physically push it in. So that way you know what station it is before you actually push it. And then over here, this is the AC vents and stuff. You have the max button, which just gives you complete max air. Then you have the dual controls. There is no off button, so to actually shut the vents and the AC off, you just have to keep going down until it automatically shuts off. Okay, and then you have the hazard button over here. You have your cold and hot vent, and then this is this button is strange. It's actually the unlock button. It unlocks the doors to the car and locks them. So it's not anywhere in the passenger or driver's side doors. It is right here in the middle, which is uncommon for most cars because it's normally over here. But when I asked why it was in the middle, they said it was a sports features, and that's the sports feature, and we'll just leave it at that. And then follow me up over here. This is actually the universal garage door openers. You have 3 for your garage. You also have your security alarm system for the car, and then up here you have the SOS button. If you open that up, it looks like you can shoot a missile, but if you push that button, it'll actually call BMW online, and somebody will come online and ask you for a security code. And then this button over here, this is for your moonroof, which I'll just quickly show you. You can tilt it, and then you can do an auto back. Fully opens, very nice. And that's the moonroof.